Good day, everyone. I am Dikajan C. Baliling, and this time I will going to present an article entitled "Growth and Yield of Sweet Corn ZMAs, Mako F1, as influenced by different combination of organic and inorganic fertilizer." And before I will forget, I would like to mention the owner of this article, published in the year 2020. And the following author are Enrique Bainas Jr. and Olaises Cagasan. So corn GMAs is the second most important cereal crop next to rice. Because of its versatility, it is known not only for human and animal consumption, but also as raw material for different food and individual products, according to Seiler in 2012. Hence, it undergoes incentive crop cultivation. Under incentive crop cultivation, one of the management practices is the application of fertilizers. Inorganic fertilizers are very expensive nowadays, which is very true. They also have a tendency to pollute the environment and decrease production efficiency, according to Fageria in 2007. Organic fertilizer, on the other hand, such as animal manure and crop residues, can be used as eco-friendly alternatives to inorganic fertilizer, according to Sarma and Maitra in 1991. However, recent studies reveal that the application of organic inputs alone cannot meet the nutritional requirement of the crop, so there is a need to integrate this with inorganic fertilizer to achieve better crop yields. The supply of nutrients from organic materials can be complemented by enriching them with inorganic nutrients that will readily release and use by the crop to compensate for the slow release of organic nutrients. Hence, the use of different organic fertilizer is recommended to minimize the negative impact of inorganic fertilizer on nature, human health, wildlife, and water resources. And there are several studies on the effect of fertilizer application on the yield performance and profitability of corn have really been conducted, according to Ellison in 2015 and Mutavalia in 1994. However, most of the published studies focus either on organic or inorganic inputs alone. Practically, this study was conducted to determine the effect of combined application of organic and inorganic fertilizer on the growth and yield performance of sweet corn and on the profitability of sweet corn production. And the study was conducted in the experimental site of the Department of Agronomy, VSU Vesca Baybay City, Leyte, an experimental area of 857.5 meters square, with a land preparation was plowed and harrowed twice at weekly intervals to pulverize the soil. This was done in the incorporate the weeds in the soil and provide good soil condition for seed germination. Furrows were made at a distance of 0.5 meter between rows after the second harrowing. So the study is composed of a treatment, which is the T0 control without fertilizer applied, and third one is organic fertilizer at 90-60 kilogram hectare, composed of nutrients, which is the NPOK0. Treatment 2 is 5 tons hectare of vermicast plus 45-30-30 kilogram. And treatment 3 is 5 tons hectare of poultry manure plus 45-30-30 kilogram. And treatment 4 is 5 tons also of cow manure plus 45-30-30 kilogram. And treatment 5 tons also of tons hectare of goat manure plus 45-30-30 kilogram hectare of synthetic. And treatment 6 is 5 tons hectare of mud press plus 45 30 30 kilogram hectare of NPOK 0. And last one is the treatment 7 foliar spray fermented golden snail plus 45 30 30 kilogram hectare. Composed also, the following treatment is composed of uh, nutrients. The NP 0K0 is a nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. These were laid out in the randomized complete block design RCBD with the three replication, and each replication was divided into 8 plots, measuring 5 meter times 45 meter. An alleyway of 1 meter was provided between replication and between treatment plots to facilitate farm operation and data gathering. So in chemical properties, 10 soil subsample were randomly collected from the experimental area at 0.20 centimeter deep from the soil surface before the conduct of the experiment. These were composite air dried, pulverized, and sieved using 2.0 mm wire mesh. These were submitted to the Central Analytical Service Laboratory, Philippine Root Crop Research Center, and Apple Root Crops VSU VESCA by City Leyte for determination of soil pH, organic matter percent, modified Wiki Block method in PCARD 1980, total nitrogen modified in KIDA method in PCAR in 1980 also. Available phosphorus, barangay number 2 method by Jack in 1958, and exchangeable potassium content in ammonium center method in PCARD also in 1980. So after harvest, soil sample were gathered for final analysis. Sample were collected per treatment plot at 0 to 20 centimeter deep from the surface and composite for the determination of some soil parameters mentioned above. The and in culture management practices, the organic fertilizer were applied uniformly in the furrows and were incorporated into the soil. Each treatment plot 2 weeks before planting at a rate of 5 tons hectare for treatment. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The inorganic fertilizer were applied in the furrows. Complete fertilizer 1414 was dried 10 days after planting at rate of 90-60-60 kilogram per hectare with nutrients of NPOK 0 for treatment 1 and 45-30-30 kilogram hectare NPOK 0 for treatment 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Urea and urea of 46 was side dress in 30 days after planting. The fermented golden snow was applied as foliar spray in treatment 7, diluted at ratio of 3 tablespoons to 1 liter of water and sprayed to plants at weekly intervals. This was done at 7:40, 21, 28, and 35 day after planting. And 2 weeks after basal application of organic fertilizer, seeds were directly planted at a rate of one seed per hell to have a desired plant population of 53,333 plants per hectare at a distance of 0.75 meter between row and 0.25 meter between hulls. Seeds were sown in seed trays for replanting for missing hulls. Replanting was done 7 days after planting. And also off barring was done in 15 days after planting using Carabao drone or the manual method implement to return the soil away from the base of plants for better soil erosion and control of weeds. And also, the healing up was done in 30 days after planting to cover the side rust fertilizer on the second application for better anchor and sorbidity and to minimize the occurrence of weeds. And the hand weeding was done to control the regrowth of weeds competition without the experimental area after healing up, but the weeds in the surrounding area was maintained to conserve the population of the insect pest natural enemies. And also the insect pests and diseases manifestation were controlled by the management of by the application of botanical pesticide derived from carabao and powder soap at weekly intervals from V3 third left proportion until VT in the tasseling portion. Daily monitoring of insect pests and diseases was done to assist damage. Marigold flower, Calendula officinalis, was also planted along the side of the experimental area at a distance of 0.5 meter from the border plants at the side and alley to serve as insect repellent. Sweet corn was harvested at boiling stage or the green cob stage when it reached its archery stage in milking particularly in milking stage. Then 10 sample plants per treatment were used for gathering data on agronomic characteristic, yield and yield components, and harvest index. These were taken within the harvestable area in 13.50 meter. Data to be gathered, agronomic characteristics, the following parameters were gathered. Number of days from planting to emergence, number of days from planting to tasseling, number of days from planting to sulking, number of days from planting to boiling stage, plant height centimeter at maturity, and fresh stover yield 3 tons per hectare. For yield and yield components, the following data were gathered rather. Number of ears plant, ears length centimeter or diameter centimeter, weight of marketable ears tons per hectare, and total area yield tons per hectare. And the other parameter gathered were the following: harvest index, soil chemical properties, and production cost. In result and discussion, in soil chemical proportion, as table followed, soil test results are presented. So, soil test results are presented in table 1. So, as I show a few minutes from now, initial result revealed that the experimental area had strongly acidic soil. Wait. Mm, Acidic soil in 5.51 with adequate organic matter content of 4% medium total nitrogen of 0.20%, high potassium of 0.84 milligram me 100 gram, but low phosphorus 6.95 milligram per kilogram. Content based on the indicate on soil nutrients availability by London in 1991. After harvesting, the crop result of the soil analysis indicated that the treatment did not affect soil nutrients except pH and available of potassium milligram per kilogram. Highest a pH value 6.27 was recorded in plot applied with combined poultry manure and organic fertilizer, which is the treatment 3. comparable to plant not applied with 3 any fertilizer treatment, a zero cow dung and inorganic fertilizer treatment 4 goat manure and inorganic fertilizer which is the treatment 5 and fermented golden snail and inorganic fertilizer treatment 7. This could be attributed to the amount of inorganic matter content from 7 to 7 and the organic fertilizer applied to the soil which is affected increased by the pH value to slightly acidic. On the other hand, the lowest pH value is 5.56 was recorded in plots applied with pure inorganic fertilizer treatment 1. This could be attributed to the high soil acidity, lower pH value from urea hydrolysis, and ammonium content of organic fertilizer. And according to Jenkins in 2015, fertilizer containing ammonium acidifies the soil. Ammonium nitrogen from fertilizer is readily converted to nitrate and hydro, hydrogen ions by bacteria in the soil. This contributes different amount of hydrogen ions to the soil depending on the fertilizer. And he further added that an organic fertilizer can easily leach its nitrate and sulfate, which causes acidification. The relative increase in pH after harvest could be attributed to the mineralization of organic fertilizer, nutrient analysis of different manures, which is shown in Table 2, revealed that a poultry manure had the highest phosphorus content, composed of 2.226%. Those plots applied with poultry manure and organic fertilizer treatment 3 obtained 3 the highest potassium content after harvested. Relative to the plots applied with pure inorganic fertilizer, which is treatment 1, comparable to those with vermicompost treatment 2, cow dung, treatment 4, and mud press, treatment 6 is combined with inorganic fertilizer. So, this is the table that present the data. Um, And on the other hand, the significant decrease in organic matter after harvest, despite adding organic materials, can be attributed to the presence of decaying organism or an increased rate of decay as a result of change in natural anthropogenic condition of the soil, leading to the decline in organic matter, according to Ogenea in 2002 rather. In chemical properties of organic fertilizer, the chemical properties of fertilizer are presented in Table 2. Different organic fertilizer contain adequate amount of nutrients. This contributed to the significant greater number, size, length, and marketable areas of sweet corn compared with those not applied with any of these organic fertilizer. Those in general, there were improvement in the growth and yield parameter of sweet corn. So Table 2. In agronomic characteristics of sweet corn, the agronomic characteristic of sweet corn applied with different organic materials combined with inorganic fertilizer are presented in Figure 1. So, Figure 1. And statistical analysis revealed that all organic characteristics of sweet corn except the stover yield treatment for tons per hectare were significantly affected by the treatment as shown in Figure 1. C. All plants applied with organic and inorganic fertilizer regardless to nutrient sources. Treatment 1, Treatment 2, Treatment 3, Treatment 4, Treatment 5, Treatment 6, and 7 reach the boiling stage earlier compared to those plants not applied with any fertilizer, which is the treatment, the control. This could be attributed to the early tasseling and sulking of fertilized plants in Figure 1A. In Chain, according to Chain 2006, found that unfertilized corn develops slower compared to fertilized plants. And the result confirmed that finding of Saylor in 2012 that corn is less fertile soil had delayed boiling stage and maturity. According also to Chen 2006, is also reported that the application of combined organic manure and inorganic fertilizer enhances the growth and development of corn. Thus, the crop matured earlier. Plants applied with pure inorganic fertilizer and a combination of organic and inorganic fertilizer, regardless of source, were significantly taller than those control, not applied with any fertilizer. Figure 1b, this result can be attributed to the adequate amount of nutrients from the fertilizer applied. The nutrients were already released and observed by the plants, causing the internode of the sweet corn to elongate. As the internodes elongate, the stalk increase their length, hence increasing the plant height. This further confirmed to the finding of Elisan in 2015 that application of combined organic and inorganic fertilizers significantly increased the height centimeter of glutinous corn. So this is the following graph, the figure 1b and c. In figure 1, agronomic characteristic of sweet corn is characterized to number of days from planting to emergence, tasseling, sulking and boiling stage, and B, plant height centimeter, C, first over yield, tons per hectare applied with different organic materials combined with inorganic fertilizer. So yield components of sweet corn. The yield and yield characteristics of sweet corn applied with different organic materials combined with organic fertilizer are presented in figure 2. Result indicate that plant applied with combined poultry manure and organic fertilizer treatment 3 had significantly more ERS 3 compared to those applied with combined cow dung and organic fertilizer treatment 4. Expectedly, unfertilized plant obtained the less are due to for insufficient nutrients for air development, which is shown in figure 2a. And different application of various organic materials combined with inorganic fertilizer produce sweet corn, which has significant longer and larger ears in centimeter, which is shown in figure 2b, had more marketable ears. Weaver marketable ears kilogram per hectare, and table 4 and total of air yield tons per hectare than the untreated control plants, which is shown in figure 2c. The significant longer and bigger ears contributed to the significant weight of marketable ears of fertilized plants, regardless of nutrient sources. Those the fertilized plants significantly obtain higher total air yield, tons per hectare, compared to the untreated control, the treatment 0. This could be attributed to the adequate amount of nutrients from the different organic fertilizer, which is shown in table 2, and organic sweet corn applied. Bohr 1976 reported that sweet corn required a minimum rate of 60 kilogram hectare in nutrients POK0, P, POKO rather. On the other hand, sweet corn not applied with fertilizer had lowest yield. The result implies the benefits of combination of organic and inorganic fertilizer on the significant yield increase in green cob of sweet corn. In Ovini in 2002 also reported that combination of organic and inorganic fertilizers can significantly improve the yield of corn. Moreover, the application of 50% of recommended rate of inorganic fertilizer combined with 5 tons per hectare organic fertilizer could have provided readily available plant nutrient which improve corn yield and productivity. Likewise, Motaville in 1994 found that combined application of organic and inorganic fertilizer to the soil improved corn yield and its quality in terms of flavor and storability. And in terms of profitability, the profitability of sweet corn production has applied with different organic materials combined with inorganic fertilizer is presented in table 5. All fertilized plant had higher gross income compared to plants with fertilizer. Results shown that a higher marketable area yield greatly contributed to the increase of gross income. The highest net income of 62,006 was obtained from plants applied with combined goat manure and inorganic fertilizer, which is treatment 5, followed by 5 by plants, followed by plants applied with combined cow dung and organic fertilizer, treatment 4, with a total of 52,786 hectare, and plants applied with pure inorganic fertilizer, which is treatment 1, is a total of 47,594 due to their highest marketable ear yield and slightly lower production cost. So this is the table that I explained. Mm. A figure 2 yield in your components, which is composed of number of ears per plant, air side centimeter, air yield, tons per hectare, and harvest index hybrid sweet corn applied with different organic materials combined with inorganic fertilizer. So table 3, cost of return analysis, hybrid corn, sweet corn production. Um, which is the highest marketable air yield is at treatment 5, 9.93, and the gross income, highest gross income is also treatment 5, 148,250, and production cost, the highest production cost is the treatment 2, 117,304. And the cost of organic material differed among treatments. The highest cost was incurred from the combination of vermicompost and organic fertilizer, treatment 2, because of the high price of vermicompost. But since it was low amount of nutrients, which is shown in table 2, related to Mudfresh, treatment 6, the return were negative. The combination of goat manure and inorganic fertilizer in treatment 5 was more profitable and advantageous because goat manure is cheap but it has high amount of nutrients. In table 2, this treatment produce the highest yield and net income. In conclusion, results of this study shown that hybrid sweet corn applied with a combination of inorganic and organic fertilizer, regardless of the source, had comparable growth and yield performance to plants applied with poor inorganic fertilizer. Those in sweet corn production, it is feasible to partly substitute inorganic fertilizer with locally available organic fertilizer. The combination of goat manure and organic fertilizer, which is a treatment 5, appeared to be the best combination as it gave the highest net income of 62,086, and I would and the author would like to recommend that to save on the cost of fertilizer for sweet corn production, the combined application of organic fertilizer and locally available and low-cost organic fertilizer like goat manure and cow dung is recommended. A similar study was being conducted to further evaluate the growth and yield response of sweet corn to combine fertilizer application under different agroclimate conditions. And before I will totally end, I would like to acknowledge the author of this article, um, and my instructor rather, Dr. Stella Paulican, and my co-student. Thank you so much for your time and response. God bless us all.